Okay, so Unit 4 is Consumer Law, Unit 4.4. This is going to be quite a short video because I want you to go away and research a lot of this for yourself. But basically we're going to start by going through consumer law and how consumers are protected, and then we're going to go through the impact on businesses, because obviously if businesses have to do these things to protect consumers, that's going to have an impact on them. So, first things first, the Consumer Rights Act of 2015. This is the main legislation that protects consumers, and it states three things. Firstly, that all products, goods and services must be of satisfactory quality. Now I've put satisfactory in apostrophes because I don't mean apostrophes, I mean speech marks. Because satisfactory is subjective. What I consider satisfactory might be very different to what you consider satisfactory. However, it is widely accepted in the eyes of this law that if you pay less for something, you're going to get a lesser quality. The goods must also be fit for purpose. So, if you order hair dye online, it is supposed to dye your hair. Or if you order pens online, they have to be able to write. Whatever that product's job is, it has to do it. And lastly, it must be as described. So if you order a blue jumper and it turns up as purple, you're protected under this act. These two things also cover advertising. What the company advertises a product to do, it must be able to do. They can't false advertise. So this is the legislation. And under different timeframes, you're entitled to different things as a consumer. So up to 30 days, if you have a faulty item, you are entitled to a full refund. Or an exchange. But up to 30 days, it is assumed that that fault existed at the point of purchase. Within 30 days, it should be able to survive, so you're entitled to a full refund. The only thing that excludes is digital products like music downloads, because obviously there's not so much of a fault issue there. Up to 6 months, faults occurred are assumed to have been there at the point of purchase. So, arguably, you are entitled to that same refund. However, sellers have a right to prove that the fault is with the customer. So a customer and a seller basically have to argue it out as to who's to blame. A customer can argue for a partial refund or replacement. I'll put seller to argue fault. After 6 months, it becomes a bit more difficult. So within 6 years, customers can complete a claim against a seller. However, it's a lot more difficult after 6 months. After 6 months, it's more difficult to prove that that fault has existed since the beginning. It is up to the buyer to prove that the fault is with the seller. So the buyer now has to argue the fault. And I will put up to 6 years. All of those things are referring to product. You get a refund on a product. For services, it's slightly different. So if you're employing an estate agent or a solicitor, if the work is not completed within an agreed time or to a suitable standard, the customer can ask for the work to be completed again. And if that's not possible, then they are entitled to a full refund. So, agreed time and standard. If not, repeat work. If not, full refund. So slightly different. Obviously, in meeting all of those requirements and in satisfying all of those rules, there's going to be an impact on the business. So firstly, on production. all goods have to be of suitable quality. We know that because of the Consumer Rights Act. However, in order to meet that, you're going to have to put procedures in place and you're going to have to train your staff. And to do that, there's going to be a cost. If you don't do that, unsuitable quality products will lead to returns, which costs you money. If people are returning stuff for a refund, that's going to cost you. So either way, meeting or not meeting quality is going to cost you money. Number 2 is safety. Your goods have to be safe. Because if they're unsafe, you're going to have compensation claims for damage, injury, or loss of life. And that is going to cost you. Big costs. You don't want a compensation claim. Ensuring safety is going to require training and procedures to be put into place. And there is a cost of that, but it's not as much of a cost as being taken to court. Lastly, your reputation. If you've got poor quality or if you've got unsafe products, there's going to be compensation claims, there's going to be returns, and you're going to build a reputation for it. Social media spreads information really, really quick. And if people are unhappy with the quality or the safety of their products, they're going to take a picture of it and they're going to put it on the internet. That spreads really, really quick and you're going to lose customers as a result of that. So meeting these things is really important. It does cost you to do it. It costs you to produce safe products. It costs you to produce higher quality products. But in doing it, you build a reputation, a good reputation, you gain customers, and you don't have to go through these things like returns and compensation claims. So what you've been asked to do is produce some sort of leaflet or poster with more in-depth research about the Consumer Rights Act. This is a basic overview, but I want you to go into a lot of detail and find some case study examples as well of where the Consumer Rights Act has been used in court. Hope that helps.